Hello everybody, my name is Galaxy, and I'm here for your next FNAF card game update for the month of May. There's a couple of exciting things on the horizon that I want to talk about with all of you, so let's get right on into it. So the first and most immediate thing is that there's a new patch coming out, with a lot of card reworks and changes and a couple of new ones. The main goal behind this patch was to eliminate a lot of the most annoying elements in the game that we've been dealing with for quite a while, and also to give some love to some archetypes that have historically been underrepresented. Some of the most annoying things being toned down are the Dark Walk characters, paralysis-focused characters like Mangle and Broken Mangle, and some really strong units like Vaughn and Scrap Baby. You'll be able to see more from that update when I post it in the Card Reveals channel in the Discord server, as per usual, and you'll be able to see even more of it at the end of this video when I go over the update in detail. Aside from the patch, we're also going to be doing some advertising soon for the game, hopefully bringing in a few new players. Going to be posting some advertisements on some Discord pages, some Reddit pages for the official FNAF pages, and we'll see if we can get some new folks. I might be a little bit busy teaching new players, hopefully, and I would really appreciate if anybody else wants to join in for some new games here or there to help some folks learn everything. I remember when we are playing with new folks, be kind, be patient. Sometimes the matches will go on for a while with folks who are not as accustomed to everything. The reason we're doing the advertising, though, is because we are going to be hosting another tournament soon. The exact date hasn't been set in stone just yet, but after this video releases, I'll start contacting players to get a basis for what weekend we want to hold everything. Right this moment, it's looking like we are going to be trying to schedule for the 5th, 6th, and 7th of June. So that should be by the time that this video gets uploaded about 3 weeks from now. But again, has not been set in stone yet. We'll get to it when we get to it. Just like before, it's going to be very similar to our old tournament setups. So I will contact players and see what times they are available and on what dates, and then I will set up the matches accordingly. And then afterwards, after figuring out who wins the first round, we will then schedule the second rounds on another weekend. And then we'll keep going until we get to our final game, basically. I think most of you know the standard gist of the tournaments by now. One big thing, though, that I can tell you is that this tournament is going to be our very first one with a cash prize. I, myself, will be putting basically $50 into the pot and awarding it to anybody who comes in first place. If myself comes in first place, I'll give 25 to second place. Gotta give me some sort of incentive to win, you know? Besides that upcoming tournament, we also have some key rule changes happening to the FNAF card game. Offices are now taking double damage from attacks made against them. So that means if a unit successfully makes an attack who had an attack stat of 3, they now deal 6 damage. Anything additive does not get doubled. So for example, Disorienting Sound, Under the Dreadful Moon, I'm going to find a way inside. Any of those abilities that say that they do additional damage to the office, those effects are not doubled. The reason behind this rule change is so to incentivize more office attacks and more offensive gameplay. Through testing, it seems to have done its job quite well, and we're hoping that it's going to be a great addition to the game. The main office is also being adjusted. The units inside it can no longer be inflicted with status effects like paralysis or frozen or any other status effects that are eventually added to the game. I didn't want to have to keep writing a carve out in every single card to say that they can't paralyze in the office anymore, so now the office will just have status immunity built right into it. If we add any status effects in the future, the office is also going to be immune to those, but it might be a while before we add anything like that. Lastly, about the main office, the 1 health recovery at the start of every turn is being removed to make room for this new power. The effect was pretty impractical and niche anyways, so that's the main reason behind its removal. Speaking of removals, a couple of cards are being removed from the active card pool, and a few things are going to be changing with the ban list as well. Right now we have about 5 cards that are being removed from the pool, and one of them is actually being moved to the ban list, basically. Most of these cards had incredibly low usage, were incredibly outclassed, or just received 0 play. So they are going to be off the card pool for now, and perhaps they will return at a later date. But Extra Door, Courage, Purify, and Toxic Springtrap are all being removed from the active card pool. And the Fun Never End is being added to the ban list. It won't be available in the card pool for now, and maybe it'll get reworked in the future to be legal again. But in the day and age where we are going to have double office attacks, it seems like the card is simply too unfair. Lastly, about the ban list, Obey is being reworked in the latest patch, and as a result is going to be off the ban list now. So Obey is legal to play once again. Additionally, there's going to be new resources that are going to be coming out soon for the game as well to help with newcomers. We're going to be having ourselves a brand new rulebook, hopefully, with updated proper rules for the actual game. We're going to be having a new introductory video as well for people who want to learn through a video format. By the time this video has uploaded, the update to the workshop has actually already happened. So you can actually go in there and check out all the new cards if you want. Just like usual, they are in a bag in the middle of the tabletop sim lobby, where you can check out all of the new brand cards. Brand new. But we're also going to be going over them right now, so let's head on over to that second part of the video. Alrighty, and let's head on to the part that you guys have all been waiting for. Let's move on to the patch notes. So again, this is mostly brand new cards. Any of the new cards are going to be pretty limited. There's only about 3 of them, I believe. So, going to be just a lot of changes, hopefully for the better. So let's get right on into it. First up on the list is the first Dark Walk unit receiving a rework, which is Scrap Baby. I mentioned beforehand that they're all getting reworks and getting toned down a little bit, and that's all because they're gaining the ability Fading Darkness. This brand new charge ability will automatically remove their Dark Walk after 3 rotations, so they no longer can remain target immune forever. To compensate for that, Scrap Baby's Controlled Shock is being reworked so that it now has a range of 2 instead of 1, deals 2 damage instead of 3, and if it would kill the enemy unit, instead it paralyzes them for 1 rotation. Now, thankfully, because the office now has paralysis immunity, you can't keep people stuck in the office forever with this paralysis either. Her upgraded form into 20 mode now keeps her Dark Walk, Fading Darkness, and her new Controlled Shock. Her Shocking Vengeance has been changed so it has no longer anything to do with spells. Instead, whenever a paralyzed enemy unit is destroyed, it simply reduces the cooldown of her Electric Scooper by 1. Electric Scooper is also now a cooldown ability instead of a charge ability. And for the record, it still works with Bloody Scooping as well, since it doesn't matter if it's a charge ability, all that matters is that it's a scooping ability. 20 mode Wither Chica is the other 20 mode getting changed in this patch. She already dealt double damage to offices before this update, so now she simply eliminates players if she attacks them while you control another Chica. Ancient Memories origin is being changed from a lingering effect to a one-time use relocate project for FNAF 1. You get to swap some 2 rooms, and they're not limited to being FNAF 1 rooms. Arctic Ballora now gives herself the movement increase as well, so she can be a bit more active on the field. Big Brother Foxy is a brand new Nightmare Foxy alternate self. It's supposed to give a little bit of life to all the Nightmare Foxy support cards that the original version couldn't really use all on his own. This new Big Brother Foxy requires a small unit to sacrifice in order to come out onto the field, and he's particularly good against swarming smaller enemy units, since they will not be able to counterattack again. Bon is being reworked. His Bloody Shadows now cost 2% to activate to make him untargetable for 1 rotation. However, this also means that he can be buffed by his own player instead of being completely target immune while Bloody Shadows is active. The paralysis parts on Broken Mangle and Irregular Mangle are being changed. They now have to survive the combat in order to paralyze their opponent. You can no longer run your Mangle into things, have her die, and paralyze something big. The Mangle has to survive. The paralysis parts on the other units, like Prototype G Freddy, Owltail, etc., they are not receiving the same nerf. Dark Springtrap is also a part of the Dark Walk family that's being nerfed. However, to compensate for his brand new Fading Darkness removing his Dark Walk, he now has his It Survived ability buffed to now summon him off of any room destruction instead of specifically just It Burns. Additionally, his Dark Phantom Protection now has had its cost reduced from 3 to 2. Electrobab is receiving a 1 health increase and a 1% battery drain increase to its energy drain effect. Funtime Curtain, Pirate Cove, and Private Room now all have 1 use instead of being unlimited. Funtime Freddy now takes 1% battery to activate Puppet Master. The Glamrock Freddy forms are receiving a complete and utter rework, with Glamrock Freddy himself receiving Grisly Presence. His Superstar ability has been reworked into an additional damage ability for small units, and he now has the ability to search for other security breach units if he ends his turn in a security breach room, allowing him to look for his other forms as well. His upgraded forms 2.0, 3.0, and Max now all gain damage reduction equal to the amount of security breach units you have exiled, and all 3 forms are immune to room effects. However, to compensate for that, you can only upgrade once per turn, so you can no longer go from the base form all the way to max in one turn. You actually have to play through the forms now. Jack of Flames is getting a cost reduction to its effect. Instead of deploying a Scorched Strike units for 2% less from your deck, you can now play that Scorched Strike unit for just 1%. M2 is receiving a pretty hefty nerf since he's been pretty popular for a while now. He now costs 2% battery to host, and if you cannot deploy him after his host target dies, you take a 3% penalty. I already talked about the main office changes earlier in the video, but it is now granting immunity to status effects, and the healing effect has been removed. Sun and Moon now get to move and attack after swapping with each other. Sun is additionally getting a 2 range increase to his Brimming Day, and they now swap each other back to the hand instead of swapping into the deck. Obey is no longer on the ban list because the effect that gave you Dread tokens for when an opponent did not cast a spell on their turn has been removed. Offering of Sin is a brand new spell card that allows you to choose how many Sin tokens you want, and as a result, what effect you get. Owltail is receiving some pretty significant buffs to help Ghastly Mangle be a more strong win condition for the Juniors deck. Owltail can now regrow itself from the graveyard as long as Ghastly Mangle is still alive. Its health has been increased from 2 to 4, and it can additionally attack offices as well. However, units in the office are immune to status effects, so you can no longer paralysis parts units in the office forever with her extended reach. Party Time Chica is a brand new Secret of the Mimic unit and our first proper small Chica in the base card pool. She can give additional turns to allies by ending it adjacent to them as long as they have the same tribe. And if she's hosted by M2, she can dance up to 4 allies, basically anything adjacent to her. She does have to target them though. Phantom Whale is being reworked slightly so that the opponent now takes a battery penalty for the spell they discard. And instead of the effect lasting until the start of turn, it now lasts for 1 full rotation. Plushkins is having its cost reduced from 4 to 3. Prototype G Freddy now acts as a proper Withered and can replace any of the Glamrock Freddy forms when they die. Additionally, if replaced and deployed this way, the Glamrock Freddy's attack stat is dealt as damage to your opponent's battery. Shattered Maw is also being clarified on him so that it no longer works if he trades himself during combat. Ruined DJMM is also acting like a proper Wither now. He can be deployed from 1% battery on a DJMM that died, and his Rock Harder ability now provides 3 damage reduction instead of 5 attack. The Blind Aggression on Ruined and Shattered Roxy has been nerfed to only activate once per unit phase. However, Ruined Roxy has been given 1 health to compensate. Shamrock Freddy has received numerous changes. His effect is no longer on deploy and instead activates at the end of the turn. If you have the necessary health values and above 25%, you do win the game. Additionally, Healthy Green has been buffed to restore health from 3 all the way to full, and Cards of Fate now allows him to search for units for his win condition if he claims the power grid. Shattered Rage can no longer target large Withered Tribe units, so he cannot send things like the 20 modes back to hand. Stitch Wraith now does Battery Burn for every unit he adds from the graveyard back to his hand as a compensation for receiving the Fading Shadow nerf. Straight for the Head has been nerfed from 5 to 6%, and the movement has been reduced from 2 to 1. The Ghost is receiving 2 changes. She now gains target immunity from your opponents as long as you control another Juniors unit. However, Pull from Beyond is being nerfed from 2 Dread tokens to 3. Toxic Sewer Springtrap is now the default Toxic Springtrap in the game, and he can now move through flooded rooms for no extra movement cost. And finally, Withered G Freddy is getting the ability to reveal himself from hand to search for a Golden Freddy and add it to your hand. However, you can only activate this effect once per game. And that is it for all the patch notes, everybody. Again, the workshop update should already be active by the time that this video releases, so you should be able to start building decks right away. These cards will also be put into the card reveal channel very shortly. Thank you guys for watching this May update. I will give you guys more updates in the future about what things are happening in the FNAF card game. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day. Bye-bye!